I'm not going to take a picture. I'm going to take a video.
Post our dirty kitchen on Facebook.
All right, here's Nathan. What we're going to learn today is how to roast coffee. We're doing what kind? Rwandan, you said?
Yes, Rwandan.
We're going to roast some Rwandan coffee. Here's the basic process I have found.
So,
Here's a bag of green coffee beans that they bought from Sweet Maria's website. And apparently the way you roast this is in this popcorn popper that Jimmy just stole. Where'd it go? There it is. This is an old-fashioned 1970s West Bend.
Does it have an on-off switch?
no.
Oh.
West Bend Poppery 2, an air popper. Apparently works perfect for roasting coffee. You want to get the kind that does not have a screen in the bottom. We'll show you why later. But you put the coffee beans in there and roast them. We'll see that in a minute. So we're going to take the green beans here. He says about 74 grams, which is 3 ounces. And we're going to put them in the old West Bend Poppery 2. And start that up, and it's going to roast them until the thing they call the first crack, which the shells come off of the outside of the coffee beans. That's why you have wet paper towels in this bowl, because it blows the shells into these wet paper towels.
Let me get a timer ready. It's under there. Alright, you ready?
Yep. And we'll just let this go until it starts to crack. Apparently it sounds like popping popcorn when it starts to crack, but
The first crack's definitely the loudest and more consistent. So if you want, you can look down in here and you can see the coffee spinning.
basically just blows around the air popper until it heats up and cracks. I don't know if you can see this on video, but now it's started to heat up enough that it's starting to smoke as they heat up. That's why you do it underneath the vent, so you can catch the smoke. It smells kind of awesome, but I don't know if you'd want your whole house smelling like that. See, we're about 2.5 minutes in or so.
3.5 minutes now.
3.5 minutes, you can see it's starting to, like the chaff is all blowing off of there, and it collects down in here so you don't end up with a mess. But you can actually see, like, the color of the beans is changing, and they're swelling up a lot.
And there's the first crack.
There's the crack, there's the popping.
Yes, it's a lot like popcorn, you can tell. The first crack is...
So it does, it just sits in there and pops just like popcorn, and you can actually watch them getting darker colored.
And you can tell that it's starting to crack too, because the chaff is coming out a lot faster than normal.
And then after this first crack, you just let this keep going until it gets to the darkness you prefer.
Yep. So now we can always check it every little bit and just see what we want. It's still pretty brown, but it's much dark, so we'll let it go for a little bit longer.
And apparently after this first crack, there can be a second crack, but if it gets to that point, you want to stop, because that's the very end when it starts to burn. I'll let you see what it looks like when it's done. So now we're done. It's about 5 minutes when it finished, and he poured it into a colander. And you want to shake it around till what?
Until it's about room temperature.
That's just to cool it down and make it stop cooking?
Yep. Because yeah, if you don't cool it down at all, even if you shut off the roaster, it'll keep roasting itself just from the sheer heat. So you'll just want to put this in and shake it around. It'll take about a minute or two just to get it to about room temperature.
And he's just about cooling these down. And then what he's going to do, he's going to take those and he's going to put them in one of these mason jars, because apparently for up to 24 hours after you roasted it. Say that again. I didn't understand all that.
So it releases, I think, carbon dioxide. It releases gases while it's cooling down and getting to the point where you can drink it. And so what you want to do is you want to seal it, but not all the way, just kind of put
So
it
you
on
just
about
put the lid?
halfway. Yeah, so the air can still escape out of it, the gases can escape out of it, but then the air can't get back in it.
So the mason jar lid works perfect for that because it's got that little rubber seal on it.
Yep, and it keeps it fresh and good tasting for weeks.
Cool.
So it roasted pretty evenly, but as you can see, there's some smaller beans. That's just how it was picked, and you can tell there's chaff still in some of them, so they didn't fully crack. If it gets to the second crack, that's when it really starts to release all the chaff and all the oils and the sugars inside of the coffee. So you can see that inside of there.
Cool. Next we'll find out what it tastes like. Okay, so now we're done. He's going to measure it out one more time. We started with 74 grams.
They have to leave
Out
by
of
noon,
66.
Down to 66. And then you put it in the mason jar and you let it
Daily works at 5.
cure for 24 hours and release the CO2 gases. And then it's ready to grind up, right?
Yep.
So now
After
explain
about
this
24
grinder,
hours.
because that's not a regular grinder. That's like a shaver of some type, right?
Yeah, so it's got burrs in it. Here, maybe we can go under here and see a little better, or use the flashlight. So it's got the burrs in there. Instead of just spinning it around and having the metal blades hit it, those crush it. Those grab it and then crush it. So what it basically does is it doesn't create any friction or any heat, so it doesn't do any kind of pre-roasting or anything like that.
Okay.
So it just works a lot better and gives you a more even grind and a lot better tasting cup of coffee.
And I assume that's something you bought off of eBay or something like that?
Oh yeah, these are probably, I think my brother got it for $10, $12, maybe
Cool.
a little less. They're not too expensive.
Cool.